Hi, I'm Caroline Goes. Thank you for joining me for this session. I will be talking with you about the customer experience journey across continents. So let me start by introducing myself and my story. I was born in Brazil and I never lived in another country. Since I'm a kid, my dream was to work for an international company that allowed me to travel all the world and meet new people or cultures and the food that I saw in the movies. I still remember how I felt by watching those movies and get so excited about the day that I would meet those people. By living in a country in Brazil, you have the opportunity to meet people from everywhere. So here in Brazil, we can meet Portuguese, Spanish, African, people from Germany, Deutsch, everywhere. It's an amazing opportunity to know more how other countries and other people think or act. But living in such a continental country like Brazil, you also kind of taste the experience of a different culture within the same country. Let me give you an example. If you go to São Paulo and order a couscous, this is what you're gonna get. But if you go to Recife, this lovely city and the northwest of the country, this is what you're gonna get. It's a completely different type of food that people even eat in different moments of the day. They are different, but they have something in common, the need of a person to eat. And getting back to my introduction, I made it to work for an international company and I started to work all around, traveling a lot. And believe it or not, one interesting about me is that I got mugged in many places all around. I got mugged in Amsterdam, I got mugged in Bangalore, I got mugged in Budapest, and even in Paris. Of course, and in São Paulo too. But what happens is that no matter where I was, if I was traveling by leisure or by work, MasterCard always found a way to support and help me by delivering me what I need. So what it was behind of this, it was not a good contract with a local vendor or about the payment tool they're going to give to me. What happens is that they map it out the possible touch points on a customer experience and had prepared themselves to support a customer no matter their war. And I will continue to get back to this point through all my presentation, the customer need. By working for a trade show company, I realized that often those companies introduce themselves as events organizers. But this is a big mistake because what a trade show company does is to connect people, is to put buyers and sellers in front of each other. They help people that are interested to know more for some subject, to watch a specific session content session, or they introduce professionals to do network. And this can happen in any place. It can happen in São Paulo, Moscow, Tokyo, Sydney, and Johannesburgo, whatever they are. It happens. The same need of meeting something that is important to them. And in this company, we have this challenge to increase the overall customer engagement by delivering personalized recommendations of product sessions, companies, or people this visitor could not miss. It was not a breakthrough idea. It was actually quite simple. And then here's the challenge. We have to deliver this across 30 different countries. And each of them has their local laws, their local database, and of course, the local culture. So the point is how to deal with that. And here I'm going to share with you my experience and what I learned from all of this. So first of all, listen, and of course, start by listening your customers, what they want, what they need, when they want, where they want. So it's all about asking them what is important to them. And one thing that can help a lot is global surveys, because it allows you to find out common points between countries or even specifics that you can treat globally, but you can deliver the information to the BUs that can act on specifically. It's amazing to realize how much sometimes the needs are the same. The second is to listen to your people, because you have to remember that your people, your employees, are the ones that drives the experience that your customers are going to live. And they know your customers. They play this amazing role, the customer-facing role, that allows them to hear from them, feel the emotions of the customers, and have details about how to improve the offer that we are making. And I'm sure that you know the culture much more than we can do on a global level. And the third one is listen to your data. Behavior data has so much to tell to us, because sometimes people declare what is asked to them, but sometimes you don't know the right questions to do. So be sure that you have a high quality database available for the genius in your company to provide you all the information, all the insights that are gonna give you the information to improve. It's quite important. Then I'm gonna say about pilot. Personally, I hate MVPs because it drives my anxiety to the top. When I truly believe in one product or some experience that can make the product better for a customer, I really wanted to roll out everywhere. But I have to learn how to deal with this, my anxiety. And what I realized that my anxiety was because I thought that MVP was about to prove the value. But in fact, MVP is an amazing tool that allows you to fail and learn fast. It's gonna give you some good ways to find the blind spots that you are not seeing. And you're gonna realize that sometimes what works in some place do not necessarily work in another place. Or you're gonna find out common points that is going to be amazing for you to use everywhere. The other point I would say is divide and conquer. Because here's when I wanna get to you the concept of think globally and act locally. Sometimes you're gonna need to ask yourselves what the BUs will need that you can automatize, what is common for all of them, so you can do this work. In our case, we realized that what we could do is the algorithm that they could use to run the recommendations and use this just by working with the integrations overall. But if you allow them to evolve and develop what fits for their business, that's amazing because it's going to speed up the innovation. And what you're going to need to do at this time is about guidance, providing them the information that fits what is working everywhere, what is not working, and even in case of data, provide guidance about how to deal with this information. One good example of this is that in Brazil, the most important communication channel that they have nowadays, and I can even call social media, is WhatsApp. It was an amazing channel to deliver recommendations, but it doesn't even exist in China. They use WhatsApp. So it was about the best practice and not exactly telling exactly what they have to do. So if you focus on what is common to everybody and allow the local teams to develop what is specific for them, then you speed up the adoption of those programs. The other point, of course, is about mentoring. And I'm going to start to tell you that please do not make comparison of customer satisfactions or NPS between countries. There's a lot of information available on internet that are going to show you how different cultures interferes on the measurement of NPS, for example. And if you are comparing countries, you're going to create a kind of a competition between your BUs that is not necessarily healthy, and it's more about an ego thing that it's not going to drive the experience itself. Of course, so for example, as a Latin person, we tend to give good grades to people because we don't like to be very criticizing. It's not the same everywhere. It doesn't mean that one is better than another. It just means that they are different. So the most important thing is about focusing on the trends. So check about the uplift, the swing, what drives the NPS up for each of the activities. Of course, that you have to have clear metrics for this. And not only the satisfaction or NPS one, but the engagement ones, the ones that truly talks about the customer engagement into the customer journey. And one point that is quite important is the collection of the data. Because working globally, it means that you're gonna have to select and ask the metrics into the same format. And it's very hard. Sometimes people don't wanna give you this information just because it's just one more process, one more form for them to fulfill. And what I'm gonna tell you is that if you create frameworks, you're gonna get more consistency and help them to provide you the information. We start with a spreadsheet, and it got evolved into an online form when you're gonna get the reports even and BI tools. And remember that if you start to share the patterns or the business cases, the success all around, this is gonna make people understand why it's so important to give you that. This is an example when everybody's not using the same system, and it could be very challenging. But if you share the best practice, you're not only gonna get valuable information, but you're gonna be valuing your people that are doing amazing jobs all around. Then adapt, because even creating global projects, and I'm gonna tell you how much having standards is important, and I will be telling that it's mandatory. Otherwise, you can scale up your products. We have to understand that we're gonna get people frustrated because they're gonna have to change what they are doing just to fit to a global product. And then it's so important to share with them the big picture, how much they are making part of something bigger and how much this is impacting all around. And it's not necessarily you have to standardize everything, because if you allow them to do what they can do best on a global level, you're going to unlock the creativity, especially if you are sharing what they're doing all around. Sometimes we heard about an innovation that is taking place in India, and it can easily adapt in Ireland, for example. So in this, again, we're going to value our people and speed up the innovation. We have to remember about the local laws, especially the ones like GDPR or LGPD. And I'm sorry to say, there is no workaround here. You just need to follow. What happens if you call your local teams to check what is possible and review the journey, you're going to allow them to continue to get the journey flowing by following the step that it's allowed within each country. And it's a challenge, I admit, because sometimes you have to deal with 5 different laws. You're going to deal with a local law, global law, etc. But just follow it and be sure to rely on your local teams. I'm going to share with you my takeaways and my big learns from working in this process. So don't just interfere that you know what your customers want. Ask them, listen them. What they have to say, it's so important. And please remember that not only your customers, but listen to your people, because they are the one that drives the experience that your customer are gonna live. So they need to know what they are gonna be part of. And they know the customers, and they know information that any presentation are not gonna give it to you. Remember, business first, technology after. Tech is not a differentiator. Tech is an enabler of your business. This is something that can help you to speed up innovation and deliver your programs in a more broader field. But be sure that you know exactly what the business needs, instead of creating solutions for something that you may not even need. Be obsessed about the best practice sharing, because this speeds up the customer journey. What happens with someone in one country can help another person in another country. And you're gonna put your people doing the job in the spotlight. Scalability is key. So you have to assess your business unit to know the maturity level of each of them and be sure that you deliver what they need and what they want to progress. Sometimes you're gonna find out that what you create on global level can be broadly adopted, but you can find the ways to adapt or just deliver integrations that we're going to give them the opportunity to use, for example, local vendors to deliver the same programs. I'm going to tell you that data, algorithms, and automation are your best friends to continue to deliver personalized experience to our customers. When we're talking a company like the one I work with, more than 7 million customers, we need to have technology in our favor and knowing the data that allow them to give them the experience they need. And I want to say that no matter how digital or social isolated we get, in the end, it's always about people. I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you very much. Bye.